A very good morning to our honourable panellists, lecturers and our fellow friends. In this part, we will share about our findings during our site visit to Kampong Bharu. Site 3 is located at Jalan Raja Muda Musa, Kampong Bharu, Selangor. The vision for this site is to develop it into an area of interest, providing individuals with motives to enter Kampong Bharu through the newly developed infrastructure, the Saloma Link Bridge, connecting the heart of Kuala Lumpur to the small town of Kampong Bharu. The population of this site is approximately 1,300 people, with housing of around 330 units, and the size of the site is about 73,581 meters square. The site is a residential area with a religious primary school located right next our proposed site. Some residents also converted their residential place into mixed-use building, adding in business to generate more income. You can find storefronts, restaurants, laundromats, and barber shops in this area. The site is currently being used as a community park for gatherings and carrying out activities such as seasonal silat showcase and classes. In our demography studies, we found out that the students attend school from morning until the evening, and every morning, the elders of Kampong Bharu would gather and practice silat in the park at our site. After schooling hours, many houses and some food trucks will start opening up for business. Working adults can also be seen playing sports there in the evening. What's notable and acting as a landmark to our site is the Johor-style Rumah Melayu. There are also a few notes such as the religious primary school, the community park, and the famous Ayam Penyet Mat Raya restaurant around our site. We also find out that besides the annual Ramadan celebration, the locals of Kampong Bharu also celebrate the Hari Raya Kurban every year. In this SWOT analysis section, we will talk about the strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats we found related to Kampong Bharu. Kampong Bharu has very strong local influence in terms of their history and culture, such as the usage of architecture characteristic in traditional Malay building. However, they are poor in maintaining the historical buildings and the proposed site is actually not well planned. The community is also weak in exposing the historical elements of Kampong Bharu to the public. The undeniable opportunity is that Kampong Bharu has the potential to be recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The history and the unique Malay architecture characteristic can be highlighted to the public and allow the public to know more about Kampong Bharu. One of the threats identified is that Kampong Bharu is located right at the heart of Kuala Lumpur. Thus, the multiple architecture style and language exist in the neighbouring infrastructures. The other threat identified is that Kampong Bharu has poor lighting system, and this may cause unfortunate events during night time. While strolling along the streets of Kampong Bharu, we noticed it was a low-rise development project. The highest residential building we see is only 2-story high, with an estimated height of 8 meters.
From the diagram, the condition of vehicle traffic in the site is overall smooth. The site is also easily accessible. There is low traffic congestion, and there are no heavy traffic even though it is in peak hour. Overall, our site experiences low to medium traffic throughout the day, on both weekdays and weekends, except on Jalan Sungai Baru, where traffic builds up in the afternoon on weekends. The site is also easily accessible through public transport, with a bus stop only 650 meters away. There is also an LRT station that is only 5 minutes walk away. These public facilities ensure smooth traffic and resulted in a low traffic congestion. However, due to the narrow nature of the road, it is only sufficient for cars to pass by without any parking lots provided, resulting in residents parking illegally on both sides of the road. Therefore, the road becomes narrower and this causes traffic congestion. The site is surrounded by a balanced mix of softscape and hardscape. The playground and futsal court poses as a center where residents gather and socialize. There is a potential to develop landscape sidewalks for the convenience of tourists and residents. However, there are few trees along the pedestrian walkways for shading, as most of the vegetation are found planted in the vicinity of the resident's house. Dried leaves are seen all around, proving weak maintenance of the area. The dried leaves will accumulate and stuck the flow of water inside the drain. Thus, it may cause water clog and eventually it will create a breeding ground for mosquitoes with potential diseases such as dengue fever. The trees are also randomly planted, disrupting the aesthetic of the area. Hence, planter box are proposed to help display the plants and trees in a well-planned way. Landscape walkways are suggested to provide adequate space for pedestrian walkways and landscaping on the street. Limiting the planting area for each house is also recommended to improve the appearance of the surrounding. The diagram on the bottom right corner is a visual representation of the proposed pedestrian streetscape.
The map shown includes indications of services available on site, locations of fire hydrants, manholes, water supply, TNB utility boxes, and telecommunication towers. It also indicates the degree of brightness or dimness of the surrounding streets. Upon doing research, we have found several requirements as to the allocations of these services. The distance between 2 fire hydrants should be no more than 90 meters apart. This is to ensure easy access in the event of a fire outbreak. The distance between 2 manholes are typically 100 meters apart. As for the water supply, Kampong Bharu obtains their water supply from Air Selangor. And for the TNB utility services, electricity is generated from the main distribution room located in Quill City Mall. The electricity is then transferred to smaller distribution points, also known as SSU, throughout Kampong Bharu. Lastly, the telecommunication towers have a coverage distance of 50 kilometers to 70 kilometers. The streets highlighted in bright yellow on the map indicates that the streets are well lit in these areas. For example, the street Lorong Raja Muda Masa 3 is bright. This poses advantages being a reduced risk in crime along this road. However, it does pose as a disturbance to the residents as they are unable to have a good night's rest due to the exposure to the lights. The streets highlighted in light orange are considered to be sufficiently lit. This can be seen on the streets along the Akle Highway, several streets within the residential area, as well as the secondary street adjacent to the school. Streets highlighted in dark orange indicate insufficient lighting. This poses a great threat to individuals. For example, crime is more likely to take place in these streets. Lastly, streets highlighted in grey indicate no lighting at all. Similar to streets with insufficient lighting, crime is more evident in these areas. As Veritas has prepared a master plan inclusive of the future development plans of Kampong Bharu, our site has several future development plans as highlighted in the map shown. A Malay cultural and heritage complex along with other developments were proposed in the area adjacent to the school. As for the area east of our site, a primary school has been proposed. Lastly, west of our site, highlighted in light green, a Malay Cultural Arts and Performance Centre has been proposed. A recommended route throughout Kampong Bharu has been prepared for tourists. Kampong Bharu has several Malay traditional houses that have been recognized by Veritas. These are considered to be very popular tourist attractions. As shown in the proposed route, the first few stops will be 3 of these houses, the first being west of our site leading to the other 2 houses. After this, the 2 very popular Nasi Lemak stops are to be visited, of which are Nasi Lemak Antarabangsa and Nasi Lemak Wanjo. Just around the corner of the Nasi Lemak shops will be 2 more of these Malay traditional houses. Further down the street, Masjid Jamek Kampong Bharu can be found, and further west another one of these Malay traditional houses. Prior to visiting a famous durian cendol stall where tourists can relax and enjoy a local dessert on a hot sunny day, they are able to visit the Sultan Sulaiman Club. After a delicious bowl of durian cendol, tourists are able to witness another 2 architectural attractions, which are the Masjid Jamek Pakistan Kuala Lumpur as well as the Gurdwara Tat Khalsa Diwan Temple. In between these 2 attractions, they can stop by Pasar Chowkit to pick up some local snacks or even purchase souvenirs. The last few stops will be the remaining Malay traditional houses that lead all the way back to our site. As wind comes in from west of our site, pilities are proposed to maximize ventilation. Furthermore, the facade highlighted is recommended to have higher density openings in order to maximize natural ventilation as well as natural lighting. As unkept drains produce odor, this odor can be detected from our site. Furthermore, as there is a school adjacent to the site, noise pollution is present. Proposed vegetation creates a buffer zone between our site and the odor and noise pollution. As for the massing, area highlighted in red indicates the reduction of obstructed view. This is due to one of the most valuable views on site, a clear view of the Petronas Twin Towers. The area highlighted in blue indicates medium level massing. This creates a better visual experience from the outside. The area highlighted in yellow suggests high level massing, providing occupants with an optimum view of the Petronas Twin Towers. A recommended route for ingress and egress is provided on site. The yellow arrows indicate service access, green main access, and blue basement access. As our site is about a 10-minute walk away from the Saloma Link and the LRT station, it is easily accessible for individuals who choose to walk. A recommended route is provided for human access as highlighted in the diagram. 2 public entrances have been indicated as well. Our site consists mainly of residential buildings, so as to minimize vehicular disturbances and congestion, several recommendations have been prepared to ensure pedestrians have safer travels to Site 3. For example, the provision of parallel parking by the sidewalks to shorten peering distance for pedestrians. It also reduces illegal parking. Furthermore, the usage of rumble strips or surface treatments are recommended at areas of high pedestrian flow. This alerts drivers to be more careful. Lastly, it would be to raise medians and broaden sidewalks. This restricts vehicular turning points to deter speeding. It also provides pedestrians with a more spacious and safer route to make their way to their destination.
So, the last part of the presentation is Precedent Study. Our first Precedent Study is Community Centre called Enabling Village, which is located in Red Hill, Singapore. This community centre is chosen because the site is quite similar to our proposed site in Kampong Bharu. Firstly, Enabling Village is located within house estate with primary and secondary school, office, and senior activity centre, and there is only 5-minute walking distance from MRT station. It is designed as an inclusive space that integrates education, work, training, retail, and lifestyle, connecting people with disabilities and the society. Master Plan reimagined it as an open park or garden destination, designed as an integrated part of neighborhood pedestrian network. Besides, it also provides shelter linkway for people to access by using pedestrian walkway instead of vehicle. Multiple entry will create within Enabling Village. Driver can access through Lengkok Bharu, Visitor can access by walking along Shelter Linkway from Redhill MRT instead of vehicle. For those resident in adjacent Redhill Close, they can enter through a new entrance that feature a garden shaded by majestic saga tree that has stood there for decades. They have a concept say that the more meeting point created, the more opportunity there are for people to meet and interact. Secondly, the interior circulation planning in Xiamen Planning Exhibition Hall is also quite suitable for us to refer as a precedent study. The idea of circular paths around to a huge model at the center is well planned for an exhibition hall. The idea of circular paths around the huge model at the center is well planned for an exhibition hall. It beginning with reception, followed by multimedia theatre, history promenade, master plan and key plan exhibition area, then interactive hall and lastly public area. For the first floor, there are mainly minor exhibition area with different themes such as historical style, livable city, municipal traffic and tourism. The last precedent study is URA Centre, located at Maxwell Road, Singapore. This city gallery tells Singapore development story through 40 interactive and immersive exhibits that detail their planning challenge and the innovative solution that tackle them. In this gallery, they provide various types of activities area for the visitor to experience such as over 10 thematic areas, immersive show, interactive group game, and so on. There is a model showing the bird-eye view of Singapore at the center area. The atrium offers a space for temporary exhibit. They also provide a rent-free space for the community to display artwork. Finally, thank you for your listening. That's all for the Site 3 microsite analysis presentation.